win. Let's make some noise. Come on, let's go. Guys, I am so proud to be standing here today with three amazing Liberal candidates, Chris Sutton, Richard Pollock, and Keith Pickard. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want you to guess, when you heard the country music blaring, who picked the playlist? Take a wild guess. Love it, Chris. I love it. Guys, this is so awesome. This is so awesome and so fitting that the Prime Minister came to Windsor at the start of the election campaign and now to finish the election campaign. It's okay. We know, Mark. We know. This is where Canada begins. Makes sense. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Mark also knows that this community, our community, is on the front lines of Trump's destructive tariff war against our country, against our workers, and against our sovereignty. And he also knows that we are Canada's border city. And Mark knows that we have been proudly building cars here for over 100 years. Let's hear it for our auto workers. And most importantly, Mark is here because he knows that the word solidarity is in our bones. It's in our DNA. Because we believe in neighbor looking after neighbor, and we believe in fighting for each other. Windsor Essex did not ask for this fight, but we will finish it. And this is the right place to deliver a message to Donald J. Trump, and I sure hope he's listening. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Canada will never be the 51st state. Canada will always be sovereign, strong, and free. Are you with me? My friends, this election is different. And I know that you all feel it. I know you feel the unity. Canadians coming together, all backgrounds, all political stripes. And I know we have an incredible leader that is uniting Canadians, and that will take our fight all the way to the White House. Folks, he's just around the corner. Let's give a huge warm, let him hear it, huge welcome to Prime Minister Mark Carney. But before we begin, hold on a second. Hold on. It's a little early. But I wanted to introduce my good friend and the next Member of Parliament for Windsor West, Richard Pollock.
Thank you, Irek. Thank you for showing us what it means to have a strong advocate in Ottawa. My name is Richard Pollock, and I am your Liberal candidate in Windsor West. Bienvenue à Windsor, Monsieur le Premier Ministre. Prime Minister, we join you tonight in a show of unity and strength which echoes across our nation. This is the most important election of our lifetime, and Windsor is on the front line of this trade war with that man over there. I joined the fight to meet this moment and to stand up for Windsor. We will protect our jobs. We will invest in Windsor and build an economy that leads the G7. We will defend our values. Windsor West needs a seat in Mark Carney's Canada Strong government. So we can work together and meet these historic challenges. Mark Carney kicked off his campaign in Windsor West, and he is with all of us again tonight. He knows Windsor is where Canada begins and where the trade war will be won. And together, let's build a better future. A Canada that works for everyone. We are the soul of the Liberal Party here. Please welcome the leader of the Liberal Party and the Prime Minister of our country, Canada, Mark Carney.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you all. You know, you start as you mean to go on. Richard's right. I started this campaign here in Windsor West because there is no place more important. We are in the front lines. And I want to salute all of you for being here just as the puck is about to drop. You got your priorities straight. You got your confidence there. Thank you. Thank you, Irek. Listen, look at this slate. Just let's stop for a moment and think of the slate of great candidates we have here in Windsor. We've got Irek. There is no one in Ottawa who knows the auto industry better, who knows the union. We've got Richard, who stepped up. Long experience as a prosecutor, understands what we need to in social justice, understands what we need to justice, knows what we need to make this country safe. We got Chris Sutton, the great Chris Sutton. Experience in the Navy, served our country. Knows union. Thank you for your service. Exactly. Thank you for your service. He knows exactly what we need to do for working people. And Keith, Keith steps up, a nice business career, life's good, but he knows what we need to do for the country. He steps up at the most important time. This is a remarkable group. It's a remarkable group. Look, I'm thrilled to be here. We're making a point of being here as the campaign comes to a close, here in the engine, literally the engine of the Canadian auto industry. Home of the Spitfires. Amazing candidates, as I just said. And look, I'm here because we need to send all of them, I mean all of them, to Ottawa to build Canada's future. Now, that brings me to a question. Who is ready? Who is ready to stand up for Canada? And who is ready? Who is ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential elections in our lifetime? I'm ready. I'm ready. I am ready to lead you. Look, we are in the shadow of the Ambassador Bridge, the busiest international crossing in North America. Yeah. Route for more than a quarter of all goods that are traded between Canada and the United States. $140 billion every year, $400 billion every single day. For almost a century, it stood as a symbol of cooperation and peace, a symbol of the greatest friendship between two countries the world has ever seen. But that has changed. That has changed. That has changed, and it wasn't us who did the changing. We didn't do the changing. President Trump, the guy over there, as you just mentioned, the guy over there, somehow I think for all his talk of the working people, I don't think President Trump's in Detroit tonight. I don't think he's with the working people. He's launched a trade war that has literally ruptured the global economy. And in the process, he's betrayed us. He's betrayed us in Canada. Yeah, I'm going to work it. I'm going to work it. Look, it's, I've recognized that it's a tragedy, but it's also the new reality. And it's the reality we've got to deal with. So this is a time for serious leadership and a united country. We need to unite. We need to come together. We need to come together to fight, to protect, to build, to fight, protect, and build. We need to fight. We need to fight. We need to fight Trump's tariffs with counter tariffs of our own, which will cause maximum damage in the United States and minimum impact here. We're hitting them hard. We are hitting them hard. And we, in the wallet, where they understand, right? They understand money, lawyers, and Fox News, and we're hitting them on all three. That's why we're sending Doug Ford onto Fox News. He does a good job. He does a good job. He does a good job. Fine with me. Fine with me. You go, Doug. Danielle, maybe not. Now, what are we doing with the money that we're getting from those tariffs? Because we've got over $30 billion coming in. What we are doing. What we are doing. What we are doing. What we're doing with the money is we are taking every single dollar is going back to our workers and the businesses most affected. You know what Pierre Poilievre is doing with the money he's putting in his pocket? None of it is going back to workers. It's all going to a tax cut. That tells you everything about the priorities. And above all, what we're doing is build Canada strong. You know, and building this country, that's going to require big changes, but I'm ready. I'm ready for those changes because because I didn't come to this as a career politician. I came to this as a pragmatist, okay? And if something's not working, I'm going to change it. So we see that housing's too expensive, so we cut taxes on it, okay? But we also know that we've got to build. We got to build, baby, build. We got to build millions of new homes. And we got to build it with Canadian technology, with Canadian workers, with Canadian lumber. We knew that we had taxes, capital gains taxes, that were hurting those builders, hurting those people, those innovators, people taking risks, so we got rid of that. We saw that we had a carbon tax, consumer carbon tax, that looked good on paper, but was too divisive. So we got rid of that on day one. 18 cents a liter. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get the big polluters to pay you to save energy, not the taxpayer. Straight from them, straight to you. Nous avons élargi au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions Canadiens de plus puissent en bénéficier. Merci. Et nous avons renforcé nos relations commerciales avec l'Union européenne, la France et le Royaume-Uni pour que nos exportateurs soient moins dépendants aux États-Unis. Ça, c'est important. You know, at the end of the first week, my first week as Prime Minister, I thought it was a good idea. Some people advised me against it, but I thought it was a good idea, given that we were in a crisis, to bring all of the premiers of the provinces and territories to Ottawa. And to say, what are we going to do to stand up for Canada? Well, one of the things is to take the 13 economies we have in Canada and make it one. Get rid of all barriers to trade with it. And they agreed. And they agreed. And I thought afterwards, when have they ever agreed about anything? Yeah, and they said, well, don't ask, don't get. That's the lesson. Don't ask, don't get. But our government is going to do our bit. We're going to legislate the removal of all federal barriers by July 1st. Free trade in Canada by Canada Day. So in 9 days as government before we called the election, we did more than Pierre Poilievre imagined in his decades in Parliament. If he had an imagination and didn't just mimic Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. And so the question is, imagine what we could do with a strong, positive mandate in this election. That's what we need. We need that mandate. We need a strong, positive mandate because, as President Trump has made clear yet again in the last few days, he is trying to break us so America can own us. That will never. There's the answer. There's the. Can you see? Can you see that? Never 51. No. 51. Never 51. Never 51. It's pretty clear. Look, it's clear, we are over the shock of the betrayal. We've got a clear answer. But look, we should never forget the lessons of this experience. We have to look out for ourselves, and we have to take care of each other. You know, what I just saw there, and what hopefully they saw over the river, is we didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. In this trade war. In this trade war. In this trade war. In this trade war. Yeah. We got Ambassador, we got Gordie, we got the Gordie Howe lesson. It's all here. Look, in this trade war, just like in hockey, we will win. We will. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. The oil. They'll come back. I believe. Oil Leafs, final. You want it? No. Yeah. Just saying. Okay, we can talk about it. We can talk about it afterwards. Look, hockey, like many of you, hockey's played a big part of my life. And I grew up in Alberta. I grew up with the values I learned around the kitchen table, in the classroom, and on the ice. And my parents were teachers, and they taught. Yeah, that's right. Either are a teacher or know a teacher, right? They were teachers, and they stressed the importance of hard work, of supporting our community and taking care of others. And my coaches taught me to play hard and to be ambitious, but also, since it's Canada, to be humble at the same time. These are Windsor values. These are Canadian values. Et je me suis appuyé sur ces valeurs quand j'ai géré des crises au Canada et à travers le monde. Et aujourd'hui, je m'appuie sur elle pour faire face au président Trump et bâtir une économie renouvelée où tous peuvent réussir. Now there's someone who doesn't get any of this, and that's Pierre Poilievre. Because, and I've seen this movie before, there's a type of politician around the world, they tend to be from the right wing, they worship at the altar of the free market, despite never having actually worked in the private sector. A bit of on. It's easier if you haven't had that experience. He is the kind of politician, and he's bragged about this, that he has not changed his mind since he was 17. Has anyone learned anything since they were 17? Anyone make any mistakes? I learned a lot. So he relies on a reflex to cut, to destroy and divide. But we need solutions, not slogans. We need calm, not chaos. We need action, not anger. We see what happens over there, the politics of slogans of anger and chaos. They are dividing Americans, and they will weaken the Americans. We stay united, we will get stronger, and we will win. You know, it is our strength that the Americans want. They want our land, they want our resources, they want our water, they want our country. Never. 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 From never 51. Yeah. You know what? And they don't understand it. I don't understand it because Canada is not America. It never will be. America it's a melting pot. You look around here. We are all Canadians. We are all distinct. Canada is a mosaic. In the United States, healthcare, it's a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais des droits pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada, et le Canada n'en fera jamais partie, jamais. Canada will never ever be part. So the question is, having settled that, what do we do? We're in a crisis. We vote. I'm going to get to that. First, I'm going to make a little more of the case for why I should vote. And take California. A lot of Americans there. Look, in a crisis, the first thing you need to do is to distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. We can't change Donald Trump after 78 years. Okay. So we need a leader who can stand up to him. Il faut lui garder. We have to keep him. Look at. Le Canada a besoin d'un leader qui comprend que nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our economic destiny with the right plan. Because in a crisis, plan beats no plan. And in a crisis, you have to act with overwhelming force to overcome the anxieties that we, all of us, naturally feel. You have to act with overwhelming force to cut through the fog of uncertainty that businesses face. And you have to act with that force and that power to give back more than the crisis is taking away. That's right. That's right. And that's what our plan for building Canada strong will do. It'll start with making sure that the government spends less of your hard-earned tax dollars so that Canada can invest more. The core of our plan is to build. It's to build, baby, build. We are going to build this country. We're going to start. We're going to start. Let's go. Non-plat. Put that on a poster. Yeah, come on. Where is it? We still got time. Where's our talk? Where's our marketing? I think we used all our marketing budget, I'm afraid. We have very strict electoral financing laws in this country. I think we used it all up. Oh well, it's all right. As long as we remember it. It's at the center. It's at the center. Look, we are going to build millions of homes. We're going to build us into an energy superpower in green and in traditional energy. We are going to build. On va bâtir des millions de logements. On va bâtir une superpuissance énergétique et des bonnes carrières dans des métiers spécialisés. We will build great careers. This will be a great time to be in the trades for the next quarter century because we are building this country. We are going to build a Made in Canada auto strategy. Last time I was here, I announced with these candidates the Strategic Response Fund to build that Made in Canada auto strategy. And we are going to build, what we're going to do is usher in a new era of investment and jobs, careers, and growth, such that we create over $20,000 of new value for every single Canadian over the next 5 years. That's what building Canada strong is. Now, for one of the last times on this campaign, I'm going to mention Pierre Poilievre again. I'm going to do it. I got it, because it's important. People have an important choice to make in a couple of days. And he has no plan to stand up to President Trump. He is literally grasping at straws as this country faces, it's true. He's put the most important issue on the table, plastic straws. We got to sort that out. We'll sort that out first, and then we'll deal with the whole trade thing, whatever Trump was on about. I can't even remember what Trump is on about. He doesn't remember. Poilievre is ignoring the investments that we need to make to build the strongest economy. He's surrendering. He's literally surrendering in the fight against climate change. He wants to cut what Canada needs and Canadians most value: childcare, dental care, pharmacare, the CBC. He's got his big idea. His big idea is a bring it home tax cut. It's never home. It's never home. It doesn't show up until after Trump is supposed to leave office. Ours shows up on July 1st, $825 for hardworking families. You see, unlike Pierre Poilievre, I've managed budgets before. I've managed economies before. I have managed crises before. And I know that in a crisis, you need to build forward, not cut back. That in a crisis, it's time to come together, not to tear people apart, not to sow division. This is a serious time. It is a time for experience, not experiments. We can give ourselves far, far more than the Americans can ever take away. By Canadian. And as America retreats from the world, Canada will lead it. That's a better way. Now, before I wrap up and we check on the score, does anyone know the score? Probably. No, that's good. That's good. Paying attention. Okay. What are you doing? You good stuff. You can't multitask. I want to say a few words of why I and fellow candidates as Liberals, why we care about building a strong economy. It's not about numbers. It's not about abstract. It's because we care about people. That's why we care about a strong economy. Because we go back to that value of community. Because we know that we're all in this together. That's why we're committed to extending $10 a day daycare. That's why we've expanded dental care to over 8 million Canadians. That's why we'll make major investments in healthcare, in mental health and in treating addictions. We are all in this together. And because we're all in this together, my government is committed to real partnerships with Indigenous peoples. You know, Canada is more than a nation. We're a confederation. We're a sacred set of ideas and ideals built on practical foundations. We know that we're not always perfect, but we always strive to be good. We do things not because they're easy, but because they are right. And much of our strength, that strength in the end, it comes from coming together, it comes from unity. Because united, we have done hard things in the past, seemingly impossible things. United, we have built this country in harsh, sometimes harsh conditions. I've been in harsh conditions in Windsor. Last time I was here, it was pretty harsh. And we built this country with a sometimes hostile neighbor. They have form on this, the Americans. Every once in a while, it comes around. Unis, nous avons bâti un pays qui rassemble des langues, des cultures et des croyances différentes. Unis, nous avons bâti des institutions culturelles essentielles, comme Radio-Can, CBC. United, we created universal public health care. United, we are buying Canadian now. United, we're exploring everything this country has to offer. United, we are supporting our friends, families, neighbors who are most affected by Trump's tariffs. United, we are standing up for Canada. We will win this trade war and build the strongest economy that works for everyone. And that is why I'm standing in front of you this evening. This country has given me. This country, thank you. This country has given me everything. Gave me my family, my education, and my values, and I'm ready to give everything to Canada. But for that, and this is my ask, there's always an ask in politics. For that, I need your help. On Monday, the people of Windsor could decide who's going to be our next Prime Minister. I'm asking for you to vote. I can tell you how I'm going to vote. But I would like you to vote with me, and for positive reasons, to build this country, regardless of which party you may have supported in the past. There are only 2 days left in this campaign. It is the equivalent of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals with 2 minutes left. We need to leave everything on the ice. We need your help. Knock on a few more doors, make a few more phone calls, talk to a few more neighbors, friends, strangers, and above all, we need you to vote Liberal, so we can protect the values we share, so we can stand up to Donald Trump, so we can build united the strongest Canada. We can build Canada strong together. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.